National Grid has called for a master plan to be developed between industry and government in collaboration. We've got an economic downturn, we've got a clear need to address climate change and make sure we've got secure energy supplies that are green. There's an awful lot going on today, all focused on greening up the electricity generation. Absolutely right, that's the first place to start. But that alone is not going to get us to the carbon reduction that we need. You've got to also think about heat. How do we make sure that heat is from renewable sources? You've got to think about other green transportation sources. You've got to think about all these elements when you pull together the master plan. We're in grave danger here again of just going down one road and not thinking about the totality of the actions we need to take. A year ago, National Grid announced that we'd reduce our carbon emissions by 80% by 2050. Just ahead actually when the government announced a similar target. But 2050 is a very long way away. We've now set ourselves an interim target of a 45% reduction by 2020. That's very important because we're investing over £3 billion a year at the moment, and we need to make sure that as we invest that money, all of that money is going towards ensuring that we're reducing our own impact on the environment by that amount by 2020. We said a year ago that we'd get a baseline measure updated for the beginning of April 2009. We've done that. Now we're implementing carbon budgets for each piece of our business for this year 2009-2010. It's going to be one of the key metrics that we measure in our business, one of the key outputs that we look at. That also means as a key metric, it will also feature in rewards. So performance pay will be related to how successful we are in doing that. I think we're one of the first companies anywhere to link that right the way through to pay. Let's think about what you do in a business. You set a target. If you don't measure things, things don't happen. So we have been very clear about the reduction in carbon that we want to achieve over the next 12 years. It's going to come back through a whole multitude of actions. It's going to make sure that as we invest and build things, we take into account the emissions that those new pieces of equipment may have and that they drive down our overall emissions. We'll think about the vans and the vehicles that we drive, and think about individual and personal behaviour. We want to get this embedded in the whole way in which we run our business. And by setting targets and metrics, that'll drive over the next few years some big changes in behaviour. We are a huge part of connecting renewable energy in the UK and the US, all the wind that's going to come on stream in the next 10, 15 years, huge part of connecting new nuclear power stations. We understand a lot more a year on what smart metering might really be all about. It's not just about educating consumers on what energy they use. It's about linking that information right the way through the distribution and transmission systems and having much smarter systems that can control very intermittent flows in the future with all renewable energy on there. And more latterly, we've got involved in carbon capture and storage. How can we help people think about capturing carbon from coal-fired power stations? Is there a role for National Grid in running that infrastructure? An amazing amount of change in 12 months. We are leading, and it's going to continue to mean that National Grid has a very successful business in the future in a just incredibly exciting time.